Hey, what's up guys? Allyn with Electronix. Behind me we have a build that Brendan and I just finished, so we're actually utilizing today's Q&As, but not shouting out to one particular person for their question, but taking questions that we actually get quite often and using this as a better demo and better answers for you. So one that we wanted to share that we commonly get is where do I mount my amps? Where do I run the cables? Where do I route them? Where does this go? Where does that go? Well, I think we've said it before in other videos. It's all about starting to plan out your install. What I mean by that is know where things are gonna go. Obviously speakers are gonna go in the doors, the radio is gonna go in the dash, but depending on the amplifier and the size, amplifiers can actually go in many different locations. As an example, this one, we put amplifiers under the seat, as you can see there. But amplifiers can also be incorporated into an amp rack or mounted in the trunk. So it's all about knowing what you're doing. So since we obviously planned out our install and knew exactly where we were putting our equipment, that actually helped us make better decisions on wire length, RCA length, etc., and where things are going to be placed. So of course you can see that the car is gutted, and because of that allows us to really route the cables much cleaner in a much nicer fashion, where we can zip tie everything every so many inches along all the factory wiring, and the results are obviously much cleaner, as you can see under the seats here. So things you may want to consider when actually setting up your system and knowing where things are going. So if they're going under the seat or they're going actually in the trunk, you're going to want to know that, because most amplifier wiring kits typically come with a 17-foot RCA cable. Power wire can obviously be cut to its length that is needed, but RCA cables generally are not going to be able to be cut and soldered unless you're making your own RCA cables. So it's important to know that, because if I'm buying an amp kit with a 17-foot RCA and I'm putting my amp underneath my seat, I don't want to have 10 feet or more of leftover cable tucked somewhere in the car, zip tied up somewhere where it can actually pick up noise, because obviously it's really important, regardless of if you're putting your amps under your seats or in the trunk, to make sure that your power wire and RCA cables are run on opposite sides if possible. All right guys, so another thing to keep in mind when we're running all your cables is making sure, regardless if the amp's under the seat or in the back, that your power and your RCA cables are away from each other as much as possible to avoid any kind of noise or interference that you may get. Another reason why we actually took apart the car this far is better wire management leads to better results. So as you can see here, our final product with better wire management and knowing and planning out our install and knowing the length of cables that we need to choose for the install leads to a much cleaner installation and something that's way more reliable in the end.